So we're here with the Crollas. Will, third fight of the year coming up, and it was a big surprise to a lot of people seeing you turn pro. And how proud are you of Will's year so far?
Yeah, super proud. Listen, he's come a long, long way. It's probably a little bit awkward speaking so well of him when he's next to me, but no, he has. From I think from where he was in his life, sort of 3 years ago. Was it? Yeah, probably even less than that, to be honest.
No, it wasn't less than that.
Less than that. It wasn't.
Bickering started.
Yeah, it's
in the gym all COVID.
Oh yeah, it was cold. You get lost in the COVID years. You know what? I take it back. Okay, then. So that, and it's for him to box. Obviously, on his professional debut, made it on such a big stage, and there was huge pressure with that. I thought he handled it really well, and then I knew as the fight, once that was out the way, you was going to see an even better William, and he's improved massively from his first fight, and he's just totally changed the way he lives. We had a conversation yesterday, and now he's living it, and he feels good, and he's seeing the improvements in the gym. Seems by his stage as good as I've seen him. Physically, he's changed an awful lot, and yeah, he's stopped being busy. Obviously, he had the win last month. It was last month, yeah. It was over inside a minute, and then now it's just nice to be active because that's what William needs, activity. And I think he's going to go again in February. So it's nice, rather than waiting that long after winning inside a minute, to be waiting February, bang, he's going again. He's on the Kieran Farrell show, our good friend, a person who Morson knows very well. Jed and the team know very well. He's on there, so he's in Manchester as well. So gets him out before Christmas. And again, I expect to see improvements again. But very, very proud. Don't say much about William, but very proud.
Well, it must be strange for you having competed on Linares' undercard in Liverpool. Obviously, you were a young man when Crolla fought Linares. Yeah. Crolla at the height of his powers. I call him Crolla, you're both a Crolla. But
yeah.
When
many people call me, yeah.
Older and young. Yeah, that must have been strange.
Yeah, it was. It's a bit like, I remember getting a picture of Jorge at their open workout, and I posted it on Instagram actually. And then, but I remember it like it was yesterday getting that picture, but it's not. It's the best part of 6 years or 5 or 6 years on. Do you know, I'm being next to him, I'm bigger than him now. I'm just all, it's a weird feeling. And
getting a stoppage win on such a big occasion as well. You fought on two of Matchroom's biggest cards in the Northwest this year. You seem like you're thriving under that spotlight now and being at the press conference table. Like, so what to take on for your first professional fights?
It's something that I've always loved. Like, I used to always like being at Anthony's press conferences then, and it's nothing new to me, and I'm not fazed by any of that, and I invite all the pressure. Like, I believe it makes you perform better. I think pressure creates diamonds and stuff like that, and I believe the more pressure I get put on me, the better you will see of me, and they'll all show me performances. Each performance will get better and better and better. As long as I stay active, each performance will be it'll have a wow factor to it.
And what do you make of how Will's carried himself? It seems like Will he's got a lot more, I don't want to say the word cockiness, but you were very, very humble.
Yeah, we're very, listen, me
seems like he can get drawn into a bit of trash talk at some point.
Yeah, he very, very close, me and William. I've been since he was a baby. And I probably had to mind him when my mum and dad was working, so we've been very, very close from being born, to be honest, but we're also very, very different. The fuse is much shorter with him than it was with me. And yeah, we like you say, two very different people, and William's his own man, and that's what he wants to do on that. And I think, like, even with the fight, like, people straight away just presumed, oh, go out there and he'll sign with Matchroom, because I had some great nights there. There was a good relationship, but no, he was given the platform, he was given the opportunity, the debut, and then last time out, Eddie was on about, I want fighters to go out there and grab this opportunity, and that's what I give contracts to, and that's exactly what William done. And now, obviously, since then, so they want to do, that's something now they're going to put into people. So I'm glad that he's earned it in that way. Like, he's not just put in 2 flat performances and I'm asking for opportunities, and he gets it that way. Do you know what I mean? Boxing's very different now. to when boxing's changed an awful lot in the last 12 months. Last 2 years, but even the last 12 months with prospects getting contracts, prospects getting opportunities. Gone are the days when someone can build up a 10, 15 fight unbeaten record fighting journeyman
before you get signed.
Yeah, while you signed, do you know what I mean? That's gone. That's gone now, and it's much more friendly for the fans. And now listen, I would say there's certainly no Russia William. That was like the time in boxing 7 years. It's not. That's why I think it's just important with the activity. And that's why I'm thankful that he's able to fight again on Kieran's show in just a few weeks. Less than that now. So I think, like you say, we're very different. I'll always try and advise William. I've been there and I'll try and take that on board, but he's very much his own man, and I'll never want to take that away from him. There's qualities of William as a fighter and even as a person, not many, that I wish I had. But yeah, and that's it. I think, do you know what I mean? You've got to let someone be their own person. I think, listen, if you're coaching someone, you're advising someone, you give them. I always say it. One of my good friends always says, advice is optional, and that's what it is. But yeah, I've got to let him be his own person, and we're very, very different in people, in fighters, personalities. Yeah.
And Will, from your perspective, what's it like balancing a working relationship with your brother? Because you were there, one of the many faces in the crowd, supporting Ant on some of the best nights Manchester boxing has ever seen. So now for him to be putting all his energy and time into hopefully that you get those similar sort of nights and get world title glory, what's it like balancing the sibling relationship and the working relationship as well?
It's a lot different for everyone else in the gym. Like, you don't have to come in on a Monday, Wednesday or Friday and we'll probably argue, but it's not about boxing. It'd be about how long Anthony takes to give me, like, Joe, I need a drink after sparring and there's nothing coming out the water bottle or something like that. Like, that's what the argument's about. It's never about boxing, because I'm very I know in here he's the boss. Like, he's my coach. Like, I come in the gym I look at him as my coach, not my brother. Then when I leave the gym, he's my brother again. But like I say, then I feel like I'm just a lot more confident in the fact of the way I speak. Like, I know what I want to do, and I believe I've always know what I could always do. Like, I believe by the end of next year, I was saying it's just confidence. Like, people will speak about me as a top prospect, and that's just the confidence I come to training with every day. It's not because I'm cocky or anything like that. It's just the confidence I have in myself and the self-belief. Like, I'll be the politest person ever, like, off camera, but in the ring, that, like, I'll be very spiteful, and I am coming in there to try and take your head off. And Anthony said it then about, you know, prospects can't pad records anymore, and you're going to see a lot of 7-0 prospects, I think, fighting each other in 8 rounders and 10 rounders. I really think that benefits me. I feel the way I fight and my style, I believe that plays into my hands, and I'm all for it as well.
And Ant, from your perspective, obviously the pre-fight nerves will have always been there for yourself.
Yeah.
What are the pre-fight nerves like going watching your brother compete?
I try and make it, you know, I try not to make it any different to whether Rhiannon Dixon was fighting James Moorcroft, again, because you've got to separate that relationship. But listen, in his first fight, I was very nervous, because even though not that I doubted he was ready or anything like that, but it was a long time and there's a lot of pressure on him, and I wanted to take some of that pressure off him, and I could only take so much on next to little, do you know what I mean? So he's his own, like I said, he's his own man, and that's something he has to deal with. But last time out and stuff like that, I knew from the camp, from warming him up, I knew it was going to be a very, very good performance, and I wasn't one bit worried. And William, that's the one thing I like about William, he's a realist as well, like, sort of, and it's not being disrespectful in any way. Like, you have to beat certain fighters, and you have to beat certain fighters in style, because if not, boxing's too tough of a job to be playing around in it otherwise, or to be worried about, oh, you know, if I can't beat this person or what. And it's not, and listen, on any night, listen, look at me, I lost to a journeyman early on in my career, so some people say, well, what if you would have had that attitude? But I put it right after it, and I believe I had reasons, and there is reasons where you'll get upsets where prospects will lose to someone, something might not have been right, but it's also a little bit of like, well, no, you know, I'm here to fight, I'm here to try and make a living out of this. I've got to, you know, be beating certain level opponents, you know, I don't just want to come in it like William. Say William's not deluded, like William's not saying, I'll win multi-weight world titles, blah, blah, but I believe I can beat some top lads. You beat top lads, you're winning titles. I'm right in saying that, aren't I?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And that's it. So it's not just coming back to try and, I hear about speaking myself like this, but to try and think, oh, I can get an handful of opportunities fighting on big shows. He's not. He's trying to be his own man. And you just said it straight away, we're very different. Always will be. You mentioned the relationship. Oh yeah, like we'll have arguments in here, but he's forgotten about the moment we get in the car, we drive to the coffee shop around the corner, he's forgot about, and that's it. But yeah, no, I don't, and that's why I try and treat my fighters the same. Do you know what I mean? I'm probably a little bit more harsh on William, I probably am. But no, I can't say I get any more nervous for him. Like, I was probably more nervous about, I'm more nervous for James Moorcroft's upcoming fight than say Will's last fight or his fight after, or Ryan Dixon fight for a European title. Do you know what I mean? James, they're more on the terms of boxing, the bigger fights, aren't they? Yeah. And so I've got to think like that. I can't think, because it's my little brother, I can't think emotions have got to go. You've got to take emotions out of it. It's hard, and sometimes probably there's a few things where it comes back to bite you a little bit, but I think in any kind of relationship like that, when you look at, there's not many, there's some fantastic ones, but there's also not that many where father-son relationships work, not just in boxing, in football, in sport in general. Sometimes in work, in work, it might not in the office, and that can break down. I never want to be that. Family's more important to me than boxing will ever be, and I love boxing, but family's more important to me, so that's where it's got to be took out of it. And don't get me wrong, Will might say something like, on there, and it'll be just like, no, just try and shut it down. Listen, forget about it. We're not here to talk about that. We spoke about that in the gym, and that's it. It gets forgotten about.
That's good. That's a good mentality to have. So
yeah,
you don't really talk much about boxing outside of the
gym. We talk an awful lot about boxing,
but not about,
and even about you. We don't, not like it's any sort of disagreements might get brought in here, or it might be in the car, we'll go around the corner, and then that's it. It don't get carried on. I think if it gets carried on, then that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah, definitely. And activity at your stage of your career is absolutely crucial. You want to be as active as possible.
Yep.
That's why you're fighting on Kieran's show.
Yep, second fight in 4 weeks is. Yeah, like Anthony said it then, like, I'm not sitting here saying I'm going to win a world title at this weight, that weight and this weight. But what I will do, if I'm active, I'll beat some good kids. And like Anthony said then, if you beat good kids, you win titles. And that's something I definitely will be doing. If I'm active, I'll definitely beat some top kids. And like I say, it's just the way, the confidence I have in myself, and I've always had, like, I stopped boxing because I was playing at it. That's the only reason that I never really did anything as an amateur. Because I wasn't as good as all the other kids. I was more than good enough, but I had to go away, and I grew up in certain things of, I then had the, not what you call it, the life or death of, if I box now and I don't give it everything, I'll never know. But if I give it everything, I'll know. And I could sit there when I'm 28, 29, knowing if I give everything these few years and I don't do anything, I could go and get a normal job and work a 9 till 5. But I was struggling working a 9 till 5, thinking there was more for me, and not more for me. I could live a happier life. Like, I'm not full-time working now. I'm nowhere near as much money as I was when I was a qualified scaffolder, but I'm miles more happy, and I believe an happy fight is a very dangerous one, and I think that'll show over the next few years.
And what's it like for yourself? Obviously, Eddie Hearn, the biggest promoter in the sport, has been for a long time. He was Ant's promoter. You'll have been around sort of discussions between him and Ant when you were at a young age. What's it like now being part of those discussions personally with Eddie himself? That must be crazy.
It's pretty weird, probably one that he didn't expect to have. But
I certainly didn't expect that.
But I remember Ant telling him I could fight years ago, like when he first started working with me, and then obviously I just disappeared off the face of boxing. But like he was saying then, like, I love pressure, like I thrive off it. I think it either makes or breaks you, and like you said then, I'd be honoured to fight at any time on any card at a stadium. I'd love the experience. Like, I just love stuff like that. Like Anthony said then, with dress rehearsals, I've seen all the cameras in his changing rooms, and I was at a good age, whereas you said with Campbell would have been, I imagine he would
Baby, so yeah, he would have been young. He would have been too young to take it all in. I don't think he boxed then.
I was a great age. I was 16, 17, 18, 19. Like, I can remember him like it was yesterday. Like, I was in the back walking out in front of 14, 15,000 at the arena for him. The only difference is it's for me, and I'd rather it be for me because it's in my hands. Like, if I go out and get beat, that's on me. There's no pressure on anyone else. Like, it's my doing. And no, like I say, I love the pressure, and like I say, hopefully I think something will go forward working with Eddie, and hopefully it'll be a similar journey to what Anthony's was.
And finally, what can fans expect at Bowlers on Kieran Farrell's show? Because, you know, you said you want to be spiteful in there. Is the highlight reel something that you're concerned about? Do you want to have like a brutal knockout highlight reel in the next few years?
I was speaking to Paul Smith actually after my last fight, and that'll be the first time I've had it in a pro ring as in a fight. When you hurt someone, it's the best feel. Like, it's a great feeling. Like, and he's hungry for it. But I'd never go looking for it. I set up my shots, and I believe I'm heavy-handed enough to, if I'm boxing nice and set up the right shot, that I will get them highlight reel knockouts because I feel like I'm heavy-handed. But no, it's nothing I'd ever go looking for. I fought in my debut. I went head on it in too much because I thought I'd try and blast him out, and it didn't work. Whereas last fight I didn't look for it and it come. So it's something that's always said, if you look for it, it never comes. Whereas if you don't and you just box it nice, it comes. And I'll box nice next week, and I'm hoping it does come, because if it does come, I'll be taking it.
Perfect. And then just one more as well. We've got to mention Morson. Obviously, Morson were a key part of your career, and to see
massive.
That mantle get passed over to Will now, from both of your perspectives, that must be crazy.
It means an awful lot. Jed, you know, what he done for me in my career was massive, and I always say it, what he done early on as well, like, because there was times I was a full-time pro, I was just about getting by, and sponsorship from Jed, that played a huge part in it. My fight wage wouldn't have carried me through to allow me to be a full-time professional. So that was massive at such an important point in my career, certainly wouldn't reach the heights it did. But Jed, the whole Morson team, and I think what they're about, it just means a lot to us. I think we're still getting up there, the check.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, yeah. That Jed presented me when this place when we were involved in a fire, and it's what Morson do. It's not just me saying this on camera, I'd say it off camera. They help so many grassroots clubs. This is my old amateur club, so I've got it for them. And then it just happened to be, I got it before William even talked about being a professional, not just William, before, because William's not my newest professional, right? Before any professional got the club for the amateurs. I love spending the time. I get massive joy and satisfaction out of watching the amateur kids. That's what I get. And it's sort of, there's a number of clubs who in the area who Jed and the Morson team have helped, who professionals as well. Listen, the famous Morson cap, it's how many, you know, professional fighters do we see when he fights that night? We're going to see a few of it on. And no, it means an awful lot. So when Jed Selmer and like yourself, when William's journey started, he was going to support him then. No, it meant an awful lot. It meant an awful lot. It really did, and it always will be. It's something I think I'll be forever in debt for. I genuinely mean that. Yeah, the opportunities they offer youngsters and professional athletes in a number of sports is brilliant.
What about yourself, Will?
Like Anthony said then, I think without companies like Morson, grassroots sports, I think, is massive. It saves lives. Yeah. And I'm an example of that. Nothing to do with crime for that. Without boxing, I'd live a bad life in the fact of a lifestyle and the way I live. And without companies like Morson, so I can't box. So I'm proof of how boxing changes lives and stuff like that. And companies like Morson allow that. Like, just have some of the kids come off the gym. We have a beginners class here that I used to take. I don't take it now. I don't have enough time. But you see some of them come from that, then have an amateur fight, and it's quite a proud moment to see, you know. And like Anthony said, I love watching amateur boxing. I'll go to, if there's any local shows that are nearby, I'll always go. Like, it's just good, it's just discipline that the kids learn. I imagine the same with football, boxing, or any type of sport, but companies like Morson allow that to happen, and I think it's massive.